Hey, how's it going? Got a short one for you today, going over a pretty simple question. Do suppressors increase velocity? I'll go ahead and answer the question. Generally yes, but not by a lot. Have a good one. Alright, for those of you still watching, let me go on a completely irrelevant side tangent really quick. As a kid playing Call of Duty games from COD 4 Modern Warfare to the first Black Ops, despite having close to zero firearm knowledge, I found it strange that the silencer attachment reduced range. The only realistic scenario I can think of where this would be the case is in wiped suppressors. Once a projectile passes through the wipe, it can be deflected and result in poor accuracy. That would decrease the accuracy stat instead of the range stat though, right? Another possibility is that, like with the MP5 SD, the barrel is supported near the chamber, bleeding pressure into the suppressor instead of the barrel, which reduces supersonic ammunition to subsonic velocities for quieter shots. That would definitely reduce range and damage, but this property applies to every gun in the game, even with traditional thread-on suppressors. Weird. Anyways, holy shit, that was a side tangent. My point is, partly due to video games, there is a lot of confusion about the effects of attaching a suppressor to a gun. In reality, you most of the time just get added weight, length, and back pressure, all of which are hard to design into a shooter game meaningfully. Back on track, I got a chronograph a few months ago, so I decided to test the velocities of a couple different calibers and barrel lengths, with and without my suppressors. I have two, one 30 caliber suppressor in the form of the Dead Air Sandman K, and one 9mm suppressor in the form of my rugged Obsidian 9. Also something, from what I've seen, the closer the suppressor's bore size is to the projectile being shot through the suppressor, gets you better suppression and velocity boost. For example, a 308 being shot through a 30 caliber suppressor will generally get you a higher velocity boost than shooting 5.56 through the same can. Did my findings confirm this? Let's see. First, I shot PMC X-Tac 62 grain M855 from my 10.3 inch SBR. Side note, before going over the numbers, I forgot how concussive a 10.3 inch barrel with a muzzle brake is, since I never shoot this gun without a can. Anyways, unsuppressed, we got an average of 2,571 feet per second. And suppressed with my Sandman K, we got an average of 2,621. An increase of 50 feet per second. Though, let's be honest, 50 feet per second is easily within the deviation between rounds normally. So, there is definitely an increase in velocity here, just not much. Also keep in mind that this is a short barrel in 5.56, so any additional powder burn is going to be more meaningful than a suppressor on a 16-inch barrel. Moving on to 308, I shot some GG&G 147 grain through my AR-10 with a 16-inch barrel. Unsuppressed, we got an average of 2,557 FPS, and suppressed, we got 2,590, an increase of 33 feet per second. This is even less impressive despite shooting a 30 caliber projectile through a 30 caliber suppressor. The numbers don't lie though, so there's definitely an increase here, just not a significant one. And finally, we have my 9mm subsonic 147 grain hand loads through my 5.5 inch barreled blowback AR-9. It also has the blowback 9 gentle recoil system in the buffer tube. Just figured I'd mention that. Here we have an interesting result, which I think is partly due to my relatively inconsistent load using Hodgdon CFE pistol powder and using a pistol cartridge in the first place. Unsuppressed, we got an average of 1,030 feet per second, and suppressed, we got 1,005. The fuck? I think what happened here is both inconsistent loads for myself, but also that pistol rounds generally get full powder burn in shorter lengths of barrel. Essentially, when most of the powder is already burned up, adding a suppressor won't net you that much extra velocity. So, what has my admittedly narrow test told us? Well, it confirms what others have found, that suppressors can increase velocity, but usually not by any significant amount. It also confirmed that my powder measure may be off by a couple tenths of a grain, at least with CFE pistol. It might be time to upgrade. So yeah, a pretty simple and pretty short video. But don't worry, I have a banger coming up in a few weeks, so stay tuned. But who gives a shit about 50 extra feet per second in velocity if you suck ass with your gun? Go to the gym, train on the range, and live your best life. Take care.
Fuck, where the hell am I hitting? We're out.